Good evening to the beautiful people of Manipur. I offer my condolences for the tragic death of Gambhir Singh. I offer my condolences to Patsoy Police Station, the officers, Amitabh Singh, Priyabartan Singh and the other officers. These were the ones that connected me with Gambhir Singh after I had discovered him via my video. Okay, this is an impromptu interview I'm giving for a friend of mine. She wanted this interview, so I'm just giving it to you. I am offering my condolences to the aggrieved family of Gambhir Singh Saab. I mean, this is a huge loss for that family because they waited 40 years for Gambhir Singh to return home. And when he did come home, he hung himself from a bridge near his house. The first thing I'd like to tell you, I did not know about his death. I got a message on WhatsApp from Onam Samrendra Singh. He's a Manipuri. And he said that Gambhir Singh was dead. But he didn't give me the reason or anything. I sent a message back to him. I said, please give me the link. Because I am, first thing, I'm a photographer, I'm a poet, I'm an actor, I'm a fashion stylist, but I am not a student of WhatsApp University. I don't forward things unless I have shot it. So, in the meantime, I got a message from Officer Amitabh Singh, a very good man, and he told me that Gambhir Singh had committed suicide. This was really terrible news because, I mean, what made him do that? I mean, this is a question everybody was asking and I'm asking too. Now, I live in Mumbai, I live in Bandra, I don't know anything. A. Then there is a gentleman called Nonglen Laishram. He's with me on Twitter for last two years now. He also sent me the message and it was tragic, he said. Now, Gambhir Singh has committed suicide, but Gambhir Singh is not Sushant Singh Rajput, you know. So people that mourn for him will be the people that are his family and the people and the beautiful people of Manipur. He is not going to make news. He is not going to be spoken on Arnab's TV show, TV channel or anything. I mean, he came, he saw the life and he died. But there are a lot of people who were connected to Gambhir Singh through me that have really been hurt and they are not even aware that he's dead. And here I must once again, now I must tell you one more thing, that I am grateful to Vidya, journalist, who's with me on Twitter, who shot my video at Bandra police station and who captured my emotions. She's a fantastic reporter, she's a fantastic journalist, and I take my hats off to her. Because that video brought the story of Gambhir Singh to everybody. And I tell you, I'm again repeating it and I'm reiterating that I did not do anything for Gambhir Singh. It was you people of Manipur who brought him back. When Gambhir Singh went from here, I could not go. They invited me. The Patsoy police station wanted me to come to Manipur and felicitate him. But how would I do it? How would I do it? I was working on a film with Danny Denzokpa. I am his fashion designer last 40 years. I could not make it. For some time I kept in touch with Gambhir Singh through his nephew, but then those phone calls even stopped. Then the other person that I knew something about Gambhir Singh was through Priyabartan Singh, officer. He would tell me that, but I'm living in Mumbai for last 65 years. And I know one thing, Mumbai is a huge, it's a huge emotion. If you live in Mumbai, it's very difficult to leave Mumbai. You can leave Mumbai, Mumbai won't leave you. This is what I feel. I mean, all you Manipuris have some relatives in Mumbai, you can ask them. I mean, forget the lockdown. I'm talking about before the lockdown. I have no anecdotes about Gambhir Singh because I met him for a very short while, so I really don't know. But I had, when I took his video also, I mean, he was in his own world, you know. And I'm telling you again and again and again, he was not a robber, he was not a thief, he was an alcoholic. But then who was not an alcoholic? He was not a drug addict. This is one important thing I must tell you. I asked him, I said, do you take drugs? And he said, no, I don't take drugs, I drink. And now I tell you what, drinking is not a crime. He never stole money to drink. He used to sing song. 1 rupee he used to take. You give him 5 rupees, he'll return 4 rupees back to you. I mean, where do you get a man like this? Now I will tell you one very important aspect of his character, which, I mean, as a photographer, I'm not a mind reader, but I can understand people. I'm a Sufi poet also, and a Sufi monk. I felt, because of his cultural identity of Manipur, those values of Manipur, those values of his house, those values of his village, the values of his state were all embedded deep into him. I mean, you call him a Nepali, he would hammer you because he loved Manipur so much. He may have left Manipur. He didn't want to go back to Manipur. 40 years. I don't know what the reason is. I have not met his family, and I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychoanalyst or anything. I just shoot pictures. I create stories, I shoot my own stories. So this was Gambhir Singh. The one anecdote that really hits me hard is when I went to meet him. I was giving money to the police officers to give it to Gambhir Singh when he was leaving Mumbai, because I knew he's a very poor guy. So they told me, you come along. He's in custody at Siddharth Hotel. And I went over there. He was in a red t-shirt. I said, Gambhir Singh, तुम मेरे को पहचानते हो? And he said, बोले, भाई हम आपको पहचानते क्यों नहीं? आप हमको पैसा देता था खाने के लिए. Now I never ever gave him money with the thought that he will drink. That is none of my business. I gave him money with good intentions, and he took my money with good intentions. Because you drink, you do whatever habit you have, but you need food to survive. This was Gambhir Singh. This is the thing that really touched me the most. And then I'm thankful to people in Manipur. There is a journalist from Manipur. They send me pictures of his homecoming and the felicitation that he got. I mean, they did not for once think of him, the Manipuri people. They did not for once think of him as an alcoholic. They thought of him as a senior. He was a prodigal son. What he needed was a holistic touch. And the holistic touch was not me. The holistic touch was you people of Manipur. You were the one that brought him back home safely. He was a guy with broken wings. You added to his wings, you gave him the velocity to fly. And now I tell you, why he committed suicide, I really don't know. But as living in Mumbai, again I come back to the same thing. I don't think, I have a feeling that he died. I told this to somebody else even. He died the day he was taken away from here, uprooted from Mumbai. Because Mumbai he had grown roots of Mumbai. This entire system, it was Mumbai. You know. I mean, I tell any one of you from Manipur, you come to India, come to Mumbai and try to live 40 years without, doing anything. No job, nothing, accident, and then without a house, living on the road. It is totally impossible. I must tell you another thing. My father ran away from home. He was 15 years old. He ran away from Lucknow and he came to make his life in Mumbai. He did something. He was a tailor. He lived in the slums. My childhood is in the slums. My mother was very young. But he did something. He brought us up and he gave us values. What I did for Gambhir Singh is nothing. I did what my parents taught me. And you know what? Before they taught me anything, they gave me something called compassion. Without compassion, there is no life. You can be nice, you can be kind, you can be charitable, you can do everything you want. But if you don't have compassion, you have nothing. You have to feel the pain of another person. Maybe because I was an alcoholic myself for 20-25 years, I felt the pain of Gambhir Singh. And it was my family that pulled me out of this alcohol. So, Gambhir Singh is a big lesson in my life. And I can't believe that he's gone. I mean, his suicide even is a big message, that something has to be done. We have to do something as society, as a country, as a nation to curb this deadly self-infliction called suicide. Something has to be done. I don't know what has to be done, but some care has to be done. There are people who are dying. I mean, who are living and dying. And then finally comes a stage when they either cut their wrist or they go in front of a train. I mean, this is what Gambhir Singh died to teach us a lesson that we should help people who are suicide prone. And this lockdown, coming back, forgive me, this lockdown, how many people have died by suicide? The government will never know. You're talking about migrants. You're not talking about red light area, the prostitutes over there. How many have died over there without any job, without anything? I don't want to say anything about any institution, whether it is the judiciary or anything, but I, as a human being, as a senior citizen, I think the main lesson that comes out of Gambhir Singh's death is we have to do something about suicide. This is all. I don't want fame, I don't want glamour, I have got everything. I'm a fashion designer, I'm an actor. But Gambhir Singh gave me something which touched me completely. It is called humility. And this is the humility that I found in all of you in Manipur. All of you in Manipur. He was sinking and you became the straw and you brought him back home. Jai Hind. God bless you all. Stay safe and may the soul of Gambhir Singh find nirvana, moksha. Rest in peace. Good morning, friends, my viewers, my subscribers. After almost a year, I've come to Carter Road for my morning walk. I normally, after my bypass surgery, that was in December, I used to walk at Bandstand. And I used to walk at Med Gardens, Old Rizvi Garden it's called. Med Gardens, near my tennis court. I stopped playing tennis after my bypass surgery. But I am walking. I need to walk, I need to do breathing exercises, I have to do chest exercises. Because otherwise things will go rusty inside. I'm plus 65. And the bypass surgery was a big challenge. I'm grateful to friends like Zaid Khan of Swabiman who helped me undergo this surgery, because I was really, my funds were all wiped out during the pandemic. Bollywood was shut, there was no money. A producer owes me money but he doesn't want to pay. It's been almost 3 years. So this was my life and I'm coping up with it. I just got some work thanks to Mr. Shakti Kapoor and Mr. Pailaj Nailani, producer, director. So, paid off a few debts, hand loans that I had taken from a few close friends during my bypass surgery. Today, coming to Carter Road, it's more walker friendly. It's become more spacious. It's not that crowded because it's the morning time. But things have changed. I don't see those old faces of Imtiaz Qureshi and others whom I used to meet on the walk. I have not seen the soup van as yet. But otherwise, Carter Road is not bad for walking. And I prefer Bandstand for the reason being that I meet Salim Khan Sahab, my guru. I pay my respects to him. And then I get a lot of stories. Yesterday I saw the law students from Lord College cleaning Bandstand and doing it with a lot of enthusiasm and dedication, because they want to keep Mumbai clean, Swachh, and their motto is clean for green. So anyway, now I shall walk from here, from Carter Road via Chimbai, via Baroda Road, and go towards my house. My wife walks at Bandstand in the mornings, but she's got a home kitchen now. She's catering to a few selected people, biryani and galoti ke kebab. If you guys are interested, do let me know. We send it by VFast for limited patronage, for limited people. So, and this is all thanks to my daughter Samia Shakir, who has made this possible for her mother. Because my medicines were costing a bomb, especially the heart medicines and the insulin insulin. I'm on insulin because of my diabetes. My diabetes doctor does not come to Hinduja anymore, I think. Manoj Chadda Saab. He has taken good care of me. And Dr. Nitin Gokhale, who is my cardiologist, has taken good care of me. And most of all, Dr. Kirat Upadhyay, nephrologist of Leelavati, who has been very, very great. I'm very grateful to him. He has given me a clean sheet of bill for my kidneys. So this is it. Wish you all the very best. Take care. Not very much into live videos and all. I don't use IGTV. I don't use that much. I don't use TikTok. I've never used it at all. I prefer YouTube. I'm a responsible YouTube contributor, and I only shoot original content. I am definitely not from the WhatsApp university. I mean, there are people so hung up on WhatsApp, they send you all kinds of shit without even realizing whether we like it or don't like it. And that's it for today. And there I have a very good friend called Suren Gurbaksani. We've been very, very close. I haven't had a chat with him for a long time. Thank you.
जरा जब दादा के घर आती है, दादी बहुत खुश हो जाती हैं। जरा जब दादा के घर आती है, जीनिया को बहुत सताती है। जरा जब दादा के घर आती है, खाना नहीं वो खाती है, उसकी मम्मी घबरा जाती है। जरा बाबा को बहुत चाहती है, बाबा को पानी पिलाती है। नींद आती है तो बाबा के बाजू में जरा सो जाती है। जरा दादा को बहुत सताती है, बुआ बनकर दादा को डराती है। खाना नहीं वो खाती है, मम्मी खुश हो जाती है जब दादी के घर से जहरा अपने घर आती है। जहरा सबसे प्यारी मेरी पोती जब दादा के घर आती है। सबको वो डराती है, जहरा जहरा कहती है। जहरा जीनिया को बहुत चाहती है, जहरा जब दादा के घर आती है।
Good morning. From Feroz Shah ke Sufi poet, Feroz Shah ke storyteller, Feroz Shah ke photographer number one. I thank all of you, my followers, subscribers, friends, acquaintances, for reaching a landmark of 100,000 videos uploaded on YouTube. I started this channel in 2008. I'm not very net savvy. During the pandemic, I could hardly shoot any videos. So what I did was, I went back to my Flickr albums. I was never much into videos. I used to mostly shoot stills. So what I did was, I downloaded those few albums: Hinduism, Sufism, Shiaism, Christianity, and I made them into slideshows. And basically, I'm a photojournalist. I am a documentarist. I don't like to hurt anybody, but I shoot diverse religion. I shoot rituals, culture, ethnicity, marginalized humanity, that is the beggars. I've got a playlist of Muslim beggars of India. All this is basically for educational purpose, for you all to understand how we live here. And not just black lives, all lives matter. I'm not into politics. I'm not into religious diatribe. I stay away from all that. And that is one of the reasons why I have disabled my comment box on YouTube, because of the hate, the perverse comments. I don't want at all. I don't want my mother to be abused, my sister to be abused, my daughters to be abused. I'm not interested in it. You don't like my stuff, fine. I'm not forcing you to see it.
I'm not pushing my agenda. I'm not into any political party. I'm a Shia Muslim, but I'm a human being, more important. I'm not an Islamic channel. I am not an Islamic channel. I am not an Islamic channel. I may be a Muslim, but I'm very different from the others because I follow the path of truth. I follow the path of humanity. I stay away from mosques. I find more consolation in dargahs, the Sufi saints, and I document all this. I document exorcism, possession, all these things I've been documenting among Aghoris, among Sufis, and now I'm posting this video from the garden where I shoot. So this is the story. So once again I thank all of you. And this, mind you, my channel is made in India. I only shoot India. I only shoot India. I am an Indian. I am proud to be an Indian. As an Indian, you should not be interested about my religion or my sect or my ethnicity. I am happy with what I am. And my camera tells the truth. Thank you all. God bless you all. Good evening, friends. My name is Firoz Shakir. I have a very important message to tell you all, to give you some advice. I'm a YouTuber. I joined YouTube in 2008. I'm not net savvy. And I never used to shoot videos. I shoot mostly, I started my photography as a film photographer. And I shoot stills. But lately, I started shooting videos thanks to two friends of mine. One French, Francois, and the other an American, Boaz. They inspired me to start shooting videos. Now what I'm trying to come back to, I'm a photojournalist and I'm a documentarist. I shoot diverse religion, faith, culture. So now, and I'm an Indian, I shoot India. There is a possibility that the Western world would not understand the rituals I shoot. For instance, I shoot Shiaism, I'm a Shia Muslim. But I don't shoot it because I'm a Shia Muslim. I shoot it because I'm a photographer. I want to create spiritual awareness, educational awareness. Now the Shias have rituals which are connected to the martyrdom of Imam Hussain. They scourge their backs, they cut their foreheads, they beat the chest. This I restrict. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Sometimes it happens, my eyesight is not okay. I have a diminishing eyesight because of my diabetes and my recent bypass surgery. Sometimes it happens, I shoot the screen and a child comes into the frame, is not wearing any clothes, I didn't see it. Then I was made to remove that video, I didn't. I follow YouTube regulations, I follow YouTube guidelines. I don't try to defy or try, I don't shoot nudity, I don't shoot porn. But yes, when I'm shooting Naga sadhus, these are Indian sadhus, monks, who don't wear clothes. That is part of their akhada or their spirituality. So, and I am not the only one shooting them. There are so many foreign photographers shooting the Kumbh Mela. I am the only Muslim, mind you, the only Muslim shooting Naga sadhus, Aghoris, Tantrics, Sufism, Shiaism. And I'm only doing it not for making money, but to share incredible India. I am not a rich man, but whatever I can shoot, I shoot. Now, what I'm coming back to, YouTube is a fantastic platform. I have never used TikTok. I do use IGTV because I'm on Instagram. But my main love has been YouTube. And because YouTube has given me a platform to express myself, to show my world, and it's a beautiful window where you can peep into my world. My world is very different from what other photographers shoot. So now what I'm coming to is, there is the most important thing on YouTube. As a photographer, as a videographer, you should bear in mind that is called moderation. Don't shoot anything that will hurt sensibility or ethnicity. Don't ever, before shooting a video, be sure what you want to shoot.
Don't shoot anything that goes against law. I don't shoot pranks. I shoot everybody on the streets. All my friends, most of my friends are cobblers. They come from the Dalit community, and I'm proud of them because they have worked their way up. They are people who are connected to me. Even their protests I shoot. I am the son of a migrant. My father came from Lucknow when he was a very young child. So we have been living in Mumbai for last 65 years. I have been living in Bandra for last 25 years. What I am coming back to, I don't know how there are these few YouTubers that desecrate the values of humanity. How can you be educated and post things to hurt other people's gender or community? I can never do. That is why one of the things I would like to tell you is that I have kept my YouTube comment box. I've strangled it. I've locked up my comment box because there's so much of bad words and everything. A Muslim wants me to be a Muslim. He doesn't want me to shoot other religions. I mean, not every Muslim, some Muslims. I shoot Sufism. But I must tell you one more thing. The most important thing, I don't endorse, I don't promote the people I shoot. Even as a Shia Muslim, I don't promote my religion. My religion behind the camera becomes the religion of the person I'm shooting in front of the camera. And this is the most important thing. Even my grandchildren, they have learned photography when they were 2 years old. And I taught them these values. Never shoot something that will cause harm, that will go against Indian laws, and to respect the people we shoot. They are the subjects of our vision. So like I shoot the transgender, I shoot the ear cleaners, I shoot all the people on the streets. But at no given time have I spoken ill about any Sunni Muslim or any Hindu faction or anything. I would rather not shoot. So this is what I'm coming to. To be a YouTuber is this, you got to have a sense of responsibility, accountability, and don't just say that your words were misinterpreted or you didn't know there was some language gap. There is no language gap. It is sheer ignorance on your part. Don't be a YouTuber if you cannot hold on to the values and principles of a YouTuber. Being a YouTuber is a badge of honor. It's a badge of honor, believe me. I'm proud to be a YouTuber, but I'm also proud to be an Indian. This is all I would like to tell you. Wear a mask, maintain social distancing, and please like and share my videos. I only shoot India. I love India. I'm an Indian. Thank you very much. God bless you all.